Hey guys, this is Walt from the Arena Podcast. Just dropping a heads up, but unfortunately we encountered some sound issues on this episode, which I totally blame my co-host Gabe for. While we strive for perfection in every way when it comes to this podcast, except for when Gabe talks about his love for the Giants, we did have issues this week as we are recording remotely, but rest assured, we will fix this for next week. Although, quite frankly, Gabe's love for Big Blue is probably beyond fixing. But anyway, we will get back to the high quality podcast that you're used to. Except, guys, there's probably really nothing I can do about my guy Gabe. Anyway, let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Arena Podcast, everyone. My name is Gabe, and I'm joined by my regular co-host, Walt, who will say hi when
Yeah, kids,
like
what's up,
hi.
people? Yo, what's up?
Yeah. So
Another
This is,
touchdown by the Rams. Son of a gun.
So as you can see, we're still in the middle of football weekend. But before we continue with our discussion on the football weekend, just want to thank you guys for joining us on this little podcast that we're starting between two fans from New York. Just a quick reminder that the best way to support your podcast is to like, rate, share, and subscribe. Hit that share button right now to your best friend, the person that you typically or normally talk to about all things sports, whoever you're debating, whoever you jump into an arena with to fight over sports, because that's what we're doing right now. You're going to hear some rants, you're going to hear some raves, you're going to hear some discussion. Yeah, that's what we're all about. But before we get into any of that, I have to comment on
I'm going to be...
Walt. Your beard is looking magnificent. You guys can't see this because obviously you're listening. But Walt, what did you do to your beard? Did you go see like a stylist or something?
Nah, man, this is all at home. The only
Dang.
it's a little too gray.
Gray. I mean, it looks white. It looks majestic. It looks majestic.
There you go.
Do you use like one of those beard? Do you use one of those beard straighteners, like ironing things? You know how like the women have like the flattening irons and stuff, hair straighteners. It looks. You do?
Nah, man. No, I'm a man's man. This is just comb and water, and that's it. Although
comb and water, no soap.
Well, of course, obviously, you know what I'm saying. But I do say that I did buy for the first time some beard gel. I haven't used it yet, but
okay. You know what you need to use? You need to use beard balm. You need beard balm. Okay, because the balm is nice and light. You won't feel it. It won't be sticky or anything like that, but it'll be nice, and it'll give your beard a little bit of health. Anyway, enough beard talk. Let's go right into it.
Sounds good.
If you guys listen to we're talking all football right now for the most part, but before we get into football, we got a little bit of NBA news, some interesting news, some not so great news if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, which I am not.
Brooklyn.
Kevin Durant is going to be out. What is it, 4 to 6 weeks, or is it 6 to 8 weeks? 4 to 8 weeks, something like that. He's going to be out at least
4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, 4 to 6.
He's going to be out at least a month. He has an MCL sprain from a bad fall that I don't remember who fell, but someone fell basically in the middle of the game, fell into him, and you can see the video. I saw it live actually, and well, not in person, but I saw it on TV. You can see that the leg does hyperextend, and Kevin Durant has pretty skinny legs, so it's kind of a rough situation considering that the Nets are without Kyrie at home. They only have Kyrie on the road. So basically at home it's just Harden and the practice squad, really.
I mean, and it goes without saying, to state the obvious, dude was leading the league, with 29.3 points, and to take that out of the lineup along with his 7 rebounds and almost 6 assists a game, that's going to be big for them. And like you said, Kyrie not playing at home, that's going to be a big stress. And you know what? They're kind of in a weird position right now because he's probably going to miss maybe around 20 games. If you look at 4 to 6 weeks, right? 20 some odd games.
Right.
They're not in the best position in terms of the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that they're probably going to fall out of the playoffs, but they're kind of in a tricky situation right now, They're not guaranteed
A little bit.
getting into the playoffs. And now that you take him out, he's a huge piece. It's going to be rough for them. It's not going to be easy.
Well, look, I mean, they're on the road right now. They fought. Sorry, guys. I do MMA. I don't personally do MMA. I do jiu-jitsu. And every time I think about competition, immediately it's a fight. But they played tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They played in Cleveland. So they had the benefit of Kyrie, and they still weren't able to eke out the win. They lost 107 of 114. And the numbers there for Kyrie and Harding, respectively, are 27 and 22 points. So, if it's tough enough to win on the road without Durant and still having Kyrie, I would imagine that playing at home is going to be just as tough. If not harder, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a rough road.
They're in 5th place, right? They're in 5th place.
I'm not sure. I don't follow the Nets. I follow the other. Much better looking, but not doing as well. New York team, the New York Knicks, and we could talk a little bit about them. It's funny because I mentioned to you they did, but that trade isn't going to be effectual. I don't know if that's a word, but it's not going to affect the actual games right now because Cam Reddish is going to be out for some time with an ankle injury, right? I believe it's an ankle,
right?
Anyway, but there is something that I was mentioning to you that I want to start doing. Now, everyone here that has listened to the first few episodes already knows I have gripes with a certain Knick player. Okay, and I'm pretty sure every Knick fan has the same gripes with this specific Knick player. Now, Julius Randle, nice guy. Apparently, he's very well regarded as a person. And when he plays well, he plays really well. But when he plays crappy, he plays really crappy. And the inconsistency drives me crazy. And New York sports can drive someone crazy as it is, let alone having your quote and unquote, superstar #1 basketball player having games where he's only scoring 2 points in 40 minutes of play. It's crazy to me. So what I'm going to be doing is I want to give you guys the Randle report. How do you like that? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the Randle report? Once a week.
I'm all for it. I'm looking at his stats right now. I'm all for it.
Right now, his inconsistency is so crazy that he needs to get graded on a weekly basis. Now, it is the start of the week, so, he did have a few good games previously, but we lost out today already, and, he gave us 31 minutes with 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 18 points. To be fair, RJ Barrett didn't give us that much more. He gave us 18 points also, so it doesn't look like the squad did their thing. For the most part, they were only really able to catch up to the Hornets. They lost to the Hornets 97-87, but they're really only able to catch up to them in garbage time when it was too late to really catch up to their lead. But
they ended that game with a 10-0 run and so it made it a little closer than it really was.
The thing is that LaMelo was out, so they didn't even have ball on the floor, and they still beat us. That's what's kind of crazy to me.
No, that's bad.
So
listen,
I don't know. I'm gonna give them so far. I'll give on Randle. I will give him right now. We're talking about since the infamous thumbs down. Shut the F up incident. We've already forgiven you for that. Okay, we're giving you another chance to start fresh, Randle. and this is going to be your very first grade on the Randall report. I'm gonna give you a C plus.
What
How
you
do you
gonna
feel
do?
about that, Walt? How do you feel about that? A C plus
Okay,
so far. I think that he can
C
definitely do
plus.
better. Only because he showed up.
I'm
He showed up
I'm okay with
in
that.
a couple games. He did his thing a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit of a groove. He was having some fun, and you know what? He gets extra points just because we beat Trayvon Martin.
Hmm.
So
He because you know what, I'm looking at his field goal percentage. 6 of 16. That's kind of
I know that's why he gets
that's not the
the
best.
that's
So
why
yeah,
that's why he's at C. He's
the
a C.
18.
He did.
Yeah, the 18-10 sounds good, but when you look deeper, 31 minutes shooting 6 of 16. Eh, I think
No, and I
would you say
understand
C
that, but
plus?
that's a C plus is where I give him. I give him a C plus at the moment.
Did you gave him a C plus? Yeah, I'll
I
agree
give
with
him a
that.
C plus.
I
You give him a C
I
plus.
think it was an okay performance. Yeah, yeah, I'm good with that. I'll buy that for $1.
Why on earth? Why on earth did I say? Oh God. Anyway, I was speaking about Trey Young. I don't know why, but anyway, the main reason he gets the bumped
Oh,
up points is because of his.
okay.
It's because of his. It's because we were able to win against the hated Atlanta Hawks and Trey Young. Despite Trey Young having a pretty good performance, 29 points. All I care about is whatever it takes to beat Trey Young. That's all I care about. Randall was a part of that. Randall contributed to that. He had 24 points. Didn't have as many rebounds, but he had 9 assists, so he was a facilitator. So that's all I really care about. Anyway,
All
that's where
right,
I'm at on the
sounds
Randall
good.
report.
So there you go.
Football.
I'm liking it. Football was
Football.
crazy
Now,
this weekend.
dude,
Football was crazy this weekend.
kudos to you on your picks.
I'm mad though because right now I'm looking at the game. It is the third quarter with about 4 minutes remaining, and LA is beating the Cardinals 28-0, and so I was perfect on my other picks, and this one was made because I just wanted to be a contrarian pick against you. Otherwise, I'd be 6-0 this week. You know
You
what
want
I'm
to know what's
saying?
really
So it's
funny?
driving
I
me
mean, I
nuts.
guess like it wouldn't have mattered.
Ugh.
But I tried really hard to place a parlay bet. Now I'm not generally a sports betting guy. I don't like to bet on sports because anything can happen in sports. But
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
wanted to I wanted to place a 50-50 bet on your ticket and my ticket, right? Because I figured like,
Hmm.
all right, we both kind of have like just pretty similar tickets, right? If either one of our tickets had won on $50, it would have been about $3,000 on the bet. Now, clearly, it doesn't matter because if
Okay.
we had played the bet and the LA Rams win, neither of us would have won because we didn't have a full perfect card. But man, you were close.
Yeah, I know.
You were close.
Yeah, I was.
Earlier today, I was kicking myself in the butt for not doing it. And instead putting that money towards some other raffle that I ended up winning. um, but yeah, that's so let's just go down the picks real quick. I had the Bengals, the Patriots, the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Rams. And you had all the same except you had the Bills, the 49ers, and the Cardinals. That was only the only difference
Yes.
between our two cards. And you did call most of the games. I'll give you that
Yeah.
on the Rams and the Cardinals because we were both just on the toss up. We both didn't really care too much about the game, and we literally like I chose based on the colors. I didn't know I like Matthew Stafford, but I don't really know anything
You
about
did.
like the team, their scheme. I don't know anything about their coaching staff. I just don't follow the Rams, so I picked based on color, and you picked based on my choice. So I'll give you that. That didn't count.
Yes.
Everything else, though, you
Okay.
really, really called it. You knew what you were talking about there. I'll give it to you, man. I
Yeah,
mean, like, look, let's
I
go ahead
think
and talk. Let's go
yeah,
ahead and
let's
talk.
talk about the games real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about the
You
game.
know,
Let's start with the Raiders and Bengals. That was a fun game. That was a fun
oh
game. It
my
was a
gosh,
tough game though.
that was a tough game. You know what? At the
Yeah.
very end of that game, I was actually rooting for the Raiders, and I know I picked the Bengals and stuff, but you know
Yeah.
what? There was something about the Raiders that was like, I was rooting for them to at least tie the game because they worked
You know
so
what?
hard to
It's
get
just
back,
the
and
underdogs,
you
man.
know
You
what?
always, yeah,
They,
you always wanna root
yeah,
for the
it's
underdog.
true. And plus they had that horrific call, where they basically gifted a touchdown to the Bengals and stuff. Now we don't know what
You
will
know,
happen
they did.
on the following play. Anything could
Well,
happen
here's the
because
thing.
it wasn't. Yeah,
Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. Okay, at the position that they were
sure.
in, what's the likelihood that they would have been able to get a field goal?
No, they could have gotten a field goal, but if you
They
look at
had
the
good
way,
field goal
if you
position.
take that touchdown away, it changes the complexion of the game. Yeah, no, they were right there.
I
So
don't
at
know
the
if it
very
changes it
least, they
too
were going
much
to score three.
because
You
this
know,
happened. The thing is, like I don't know if it would have changed the complexion of the game too much because they still needed a score. You know, the Raiders needed a touchdown in order to win anyway. So they were gonna. I don't think they would have changed too much their scheme, and their play calling. And this happened in the first half, no?
but right, and so
Right. So
of
I think there
course you
was
could say, you know
enough
what,
time. There was enough. There was enough time for them
right.
to kind of come back. So I
But think about
think
it this
that
way though:
yeah.
if if that was instead of a touchdown, a field goal, the
Right.
very end, that last drive changes greatly because now they're not driving for a touchdown to kind of tie the game. They're driving to tie the game with a field goal. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little,
I
and they were
suppose.
close enough to kick the field
Yeah,
goal
yeah.
already. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
suppose.
yeah,
Yeah,
it did
you're right.
happen in the
You're right.
first half. It, so, but hey, listen, you know what? What do they say? Never put it in the hands of the refs, right? That's an
Yeah.
old boxing term.
We're gonna talk about putting in the hands of the refs when we get to the Dallas Cowboys game. Oh, we're gonna talk about
Oh,
that.
well, you know what?
But
I think
you
you
are
and I are going to
absolutely
have a
right about
difference
that.
of opinion there. Yeah, you know what?
Ooh. No, I don't know. I don't know if we
They
will.
should
I
have.
don't know if we will, but we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But-
But you know what? It was a really entertaining game, and I like I said, I kind of thought that Cincinnati is just the better team, and they showed it. So much props to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow showed out again, right? Is he like the next
Yeah.
coming of Joe Cool over here? You know.
I don't know,
So
man. I don't know. I really like Joe Burrow. But then after seeing the rest of the playoff weekend, I don't know how great his chances are in this postseason because we had some serious blowouts.
oh yeah,
Now again,
absolutely,
before we
absolutely.
move on to the Bills and the Patriots, I gotta also say that yeah, I thought that the Bengals Raiders game was probably the most fun game out of the weekend for me because it was
Really?
closer. Yeah, there was more drama.
I
It was a nail biter to the end. You know, the other games where they
I
were all
actually
complete blowouts, I was done watching the game halfway through,
ex-
with
except
the
for
exception
one,
of with the exception
and
of the,
that
well, yeah, the exception of a couple of games, yes. But the one
yeah,
I
but
didn't
there
actually
was one
watch, I
that
couldn't watch
that
that
it's
through.
my choice for game of the week. You know.
Oh, that's right. We gotta have a game of the week. All right.
Oh, okay.
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 Well, let's
Yeah.
move on to the
So
Bills and the Patriots
all
then.
right. So
What do you
let's
thought about the Bills and Patriots?
yeah, that's kind of how I expected it to go. It was I am surprised though. I am surprised. Um Touchdowns on the first seven touches for the Bills. That is deep, man. You
I
know what
mean,
I'm
they
saying?
didn't they
That
do?
is
Wasn't it 5 drives, 5 touchdowns?
7 drives, 7 touchdowns to start the
They
game.
they didn't get
Seven
interrupted
times.
once. I don't remember that.
Nope.
They didn't get interrupted one
I
time.
think
Jesus Christ.
yeah, they did. The very end of the
Yeah.
game when they knelt down to draw out the clock. but
Oh my
seven,
goodness.
seven, seven drives to start the game, 7 touchdowns. And
That's
think about it
insane.
this way: Josh Allen had more touchdown passes than he had in completions. So
Wait, really?
that's about as yep, that's about as perfect a game that you can have. Everything was clicking for them.
No, that was a
The
perfect game. Offense, defense, and
It
special
was.
teams, that was a perfect game. Now, it isn't what I expected. I didn't, I picked the Patriots just because I like to kind of pick, I like to be a contrarian, but not necessarily just to you, but to the general consensus. That's why I like underdogs. And
Mm-hmm.
I hoped that like we could potentially have gotten somehow that Belichick Tom Brady Super Bowl matchup, you know? Not that
No,
I
that
thought it
was
was
never gonna
likely.
happen. That was never gonna happen.
I understand.
Yeah,
I mean, I clearly we can say that now for
that's a
sure,
good
but
storyline.
I never I was just really excited about the storyline. And that's why I kind of had my I guess my eggs in that basket. Even though I'm not particularly a Belichick fan, and I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely will never ever truly root for Brady. I will say who wins. I will say, yeah, Brady will win the game, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to root for him. But I also went based off
Yeah,
of the Patriots and the Bills last meeting, where I thought that Bill Belichick basically outcoached the Bills team, and I felt like, all right, well, this one, yeah, I don't think that Mac Jones has the tools. I don't think the team specifically has all the tools, but I thought that Bill Belichick was going to be able to outcoach him, and he was outclassed in every single way.
yeah. I think it wasn't a matter of coaching. I just think the disparity in talent was just too great for him to overcome. I mean, you look at the way the Bills play. That defense is spectacular, and they showed out that game. And then you
Oh,
look
for
at
sure,
you
for
look at the
sure.
Bills. You look at the Bills on offense. You have Josh Allen. And he was just magnificent. I mean, that
Yeah,
that
he
about
absolutely
like I
was.
said, 21 of 25 for 308 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And like I said, 5 touchdowns, 4 incompletions. His passer rating was one of the highest ever. um he just played the perfect game, and you know what, he's built for that team, really, because if you look at how that game played, right, it was, I think, -7 degrees, and the wind was there,
It
but
was
he's the
insane. It was
perfect
just
guy
freaking
because he's
insane.
this
Yeah.
big burly quarterback that has, yeah, he's got that strong arm, so he can kind of muscle those
He's
those throws through.
basically a
And
quarterback
they
tight
weren't
end.
short throws, though.
Yeah, no. He's basically a
Yeah, he
quarterback
is.
tight
He's
end.
that
He's a tight
big.
end. Yeah, he's crazy.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, he had pretty much
So
a
I didn't
perfect
think it was
game.
going to be. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be 47-17. To be honest, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than that, but I
Jesus
didn't.
Christ, man.
I didn't feel that the Patriots had a real chance to win that game. You know.
I thought that there was a chance, but obviously I was wrong. Um, now you have you see that now. Let's paint the picture, right? Because I see such a crazy blowout, and I was like, oh my god, what a blowout! This is going to be the talk of the weekend. And then we see the
Mhm.
Bucks and Eagles. And Tom Brady's just putting on a
Yeah.
clinic. He's going over there. He's basically playing like freaking like you know football like neighborhood football. He's like smiling. He's patting people on the back. He's like, no, I'm gonna stay out there because I need to get these bonuses for these guys. It's crazy to me that Tom Brady can play at the level that he's been playing, the level that he did play. Now it wasn't as crazy of a blowout as the Bills and the Patriots, but it might as
Hmm.
well have been because it was 31-0 at one point. Right? I'm not mistaken. It was 31-7. 31-0, I think that it was at
No,
one point. And going into the
going
fourth, it
into the
was
fourth
thirty-one
quarter, it was
zero.
31-0.
And Brady was just playing just to play because there was questions about like, hey, let's pull him out. He doesn't need to play the rest of the game. We're gonna be able to protect this lead. And Brady was just like, nah, I want to go out there. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's kind of a theme that you're seeing in the playoffs right now. with Philly and now with the Cardinals playing is the inexperience of these quarterbacks and how I'm not going to say unprepared they were for the game, but I
Yeah,
think the moment was a little bit too big for them starting out.
yeah,
Jalen
yeah.
Hurts clearly couldn't do anything, and you know what? You got to give that defense a ton of credit, and Todd Bowles, former Jet head coach, right, who's probably going to get another head coaching job just off of the performance that he's kind of his resume that he's building with the Pats. I was about to say the Pats with Tampa Bay. His defense has been
Giants,
spectacular this year.
Giants.
You think he's Todd Bowles and the Giants? You would
I
want
don't know. I'm
that?
just saying. I want anybody in the Giants right now. Anybody that's good. Anybody
Well,
that has like a
listen,
resume and a track record.
there are some coaches out there. I mean, you look at the Cowboy guy. They got two of them. You got Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore,
Well,
who are
actually, I
are
think I'm
rising
not sure if
stars
it's
over there.
I am not sure if it's confirmed, but I believe Dan Quinn is going to be interviewing for the Giants job.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah. So
So
I thought I read that
McCarthy,
somewhere just a little while ago. So
I wouldn't doubt it at all. I wouldn't doubt it at all. But how is he interviewing if you guys don't have a general manager? We'll get into that a little bit later. Anyway,
they're going to be they are in communication, is from what I understand.
hmm,
So
interesting.
just like there's
Okay,
communication already reaching out
but
to
anyway,
to Harbaugh. Anyway, so speaking of the Cowboys, why don't we go ahead and talk about the 49ers and the Cowboys game?
yes, yes,
Okay.
that's my pick of game of the week. To be honest, I
Okay.
thought that
Tell me
was
why.
that
Because
was
I didn't think it was I thought it was an interesting game. I thought it was a fun game, but I didn't think it was a particularly
it was
great game.
it wasn't.
Outside.
And see, this is where I think my uh-huh.
No, no, go on.
Okay, this is where I guess the difference in age kind of shows itself, because to me that was an old school game. That was an
Bro, I'm
old
like a
school
few years younger
80s
than you. How old are you again?
physical. No, I know. Huh?
How old are you again?
I believe it or not, I just turned 50 this year. Well, no, late last year. It's weird. I don't feel 50, but yeah, I'm there.
Yeah,
So,
maybe that's what
you
it
know.
is. Anyway, it's not that I
Yeah.
don't. I like old school football. I like that I like the gritty run game. I like the game of inches. I like that style of football. But I just it's not the kind. I don't know what it is. It's something about the Cowboys. It could be. Even though I used to root for them when I was a kid, I also rooted for them when I didn't know anything about football. I just liked Emmitt Smith. But
Hmm.
it could be the New York, fan in me, but I just don't necessarily like the Cowboys particularly. And the
And
games
you
aren't that
shouldn't like
interesting to me either.
yeah. You shouldn't like the 49ers either, because,
I'm indifferent to
those
the
especially
49ers.
when I
I'm
was
indifferent.
watching. But see, that's where the age difference is there, because back in the days the Giants and the Niners were always going at it in the NFC Championship, back in the 80s and stuff. So, that there's kind of a little bit of a rivalry there that you haven't seen in a couple of years, because, both teams haven't been good at the same time, you know. But that was to me was a very interesting game, just because of the
Now I have a
physicality
question for
of
you
it.
though.
And yeah.
No, I was going to ask you to run us through that fateful play at the end. That final drive. Can you kind of paint us the
Mm.
picture, set it all up, so that we can actually talk about that? Because I know that that's what you were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, that was a mistake of epic proportions on both sides, to be quite honest. So that drive was made possible because the 49ers could not run out the clock. So I believe, if I remember correctly, Dallas got the ball with about, I want to say, 35, 40 seconds left in the game, right? The first mistake was made on the San
Thought it was
Francisco side,
34
because
seconds.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was in the 30s, right? I don't exactly remember. So if it was 34, that totally makes sense. So the first issue that you saw was with San Francisco and their prevent defense, because for some reason, you know, they were protecting the middle of the field. So Dallas was able to move down the field very quickly because they were throwing to the sideline with no timeouts. Okay. So they did what they were supposed to do at that point in time: go to the sideline, get out of bounds, stop the clock. It wasn't until like maybe three passes that San Francisco kind of said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we need to change our prevent and put those guys on the sideline." And that's when things started to fall apart very quickly, because and we're gonna that leads into that fateful last play, because for whatever reason, and I believe there was what 14 seconds left on the clock, right?
Yeah,
At that
yeah.
time,
Hmm.
in and they were on the 40-yard line. On the 40-yard line, the snap, and Dak Prescott decided to run with the ball. Okay, got the
I,
first
that that
down,
was that was the play that
didn't
was
go
designed though.
down.
That was the play that was designed though.
I know, but it was a stupid play. I know
Okay.
it's designed.
I'm
It's
just
a
saying that
stupid play.
I'm just saying
Okay.
that like I don't think that it's that Prescott decided. I think it was just they in that scenario. That's the play that they practiced
Well,
for that specific scenario.
I, I've
That's
heard
what
I've heard in some
that's what
different
McCarthy
places
says.
that
That's what McCarthy
you know what,
says.
McCarthy. I know, but you also have to realize McCarthy is probably trying to protect his quarterback. So the take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But whoever decided to make this play, whatever it is probably one of the dumbest plays of all time, because with 14 seconds left, first of all, two things happen here that were dumb on Dallas's side. Okay, the first thing is that when Prescott ran, he got the first down. He should have gone down there. Okay, at the minute that he got the first down, he should have slid. Instead, he decided to go for another maybe what 5 or 6 yards, which,
Something
you
like
know
that.
what,
Felt like it was even
in
more.
yeah, yeah, something like that. But you know what, in the context of what was going on, inconsequential, right? Because you're worried more about time than you are yardage at that point. You're not trying to get closer to kick a field goal. You need to have time to throw a touchdown. So the
Right.
first thing he did, he did not go down at the first down marker. Second, he then ran for further yards, which took off more time on the clock,
Right.
which he shouldn't have done. The 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 biggest part was that instead of him coming out of that and handing the ball to the referee, he gave it to the center, who then put it on an incorrect line of scrimmage, and the ref, who he should have given to, which everybody knows in that particular scenario, you
Yeah.
go look for the ref. The ref had to fight through the line to get to the
Yeah. To
ball
get to the
to
ball. Yeah.
set it to the right place, which then ended the game.
Yeah.
So blame blame Dak Prescott, blame Mike McCarthy,
I
blame the
blame that
offensive
almost. I blame.
coordinator, blame
I blame
somebody,
that.
but somebody screwed up majorly there.
I do blame Dak Prescott 100%. I don't blame McCarthy. I don't blame the offensive coordinator because what they said does make sense. McCarthy says, he said, like, do you want to go for a Hail Mary pass or do you want to gain a little bit of yardage to make a little bit more of a competent run to the touchdown? And that's the whole idea behind that designed play. However, I don't think that I understand that, yeah, like, let's get as close as possible so that we can have the best chance possible at the end zone, right? That's the idea. I don't think that he needed to go like I think that he went like more than just 7 yards. I think maybe 4 or 5 yards, like just slide right away so you can touch the football right away. You know. The second thing is, yeah, that was a very huge mistake to not give the ball to the officials. Okay, you made that mistake. That is
Oh yeah.
100% on your lap. You cannot in any way blame the officials for doing their job. It's their job to go and run. The official, I don't know who it was. I don't
Exactly.
remember his name, but it's his job to run to the ball and place it where it needs to be placed. Okay, you have no timeouts. You can't make mistakes like that. You cannot. If that's a designed play, then they forgot to design it with the official in mind. And that was a very, very huge mistake on their part. Now, the reason this is such
It
an
was.
important moment for me, it's because at the press conference, after press conference, the fans were throwing a bunch of trash apparently to the officials. Dak Prescott and some of the other teammates, they thought that it was to them, so they were kind of like, not on the fan side, like, screw these fans or whatever, this, that, and the other. When Dak Prescott was told that, oh no, they were being the trash was for the officials, he took a very, very low moment in my view, and he said, credit to the fans for doing that, as if it was the officials' fault that
Yeah.
he lost the game.
That.
And that is such a,
Yeah.
I can understand, like, tough losses and stuff like that. You want to blame the officials, want to blame yourself, whatever. But it's never okay to condone crap like that. And it, like, that right there alone, that guy gets a thumbs down for me for the rest of his career. Okay, I that's just as bad as Randall's thumbs down and the shut the f up thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's mean you're such a sore loser that you can't recognize that you made a mistake and incorrectly blame someone else, and then you're glad that they're having to deal with the misfortune of that. That's
Yeah.
that's
That
just
was that was
that's such a
disappointing
poor,
because you know what
yeah,
that. Yeah. Own it. Own it. You screwed up. That's basically what it
yeah,
boils down to. You screwed
yeah,
up two times. You screwed up by not sliding, and you screwed up by not giving the ball to the ref. Own your mistake.
right, right.
Do you think it's going to cost Mike McCarthy his job?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that they actually did
Really?
pretty good as a no. Yeah, I don't think it's going to cost him his job.
Have you heard the comments of Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones was at the beginning of the season, he was like, it's Super Bowl or bust. And then after the game, he goes in a prop two press conference and he says, you know what? With the collection of talent that we have on this team, it's unacceptable that we lost. That
But you
does
know
not
what?
sound like a happy owner. And you know what?
Maybe, maybe, but at the same time, I don't. There's one thing about Jerry Jones, and I love all my people to the South. Okay, but a lot of people in the South, a lot of men in the South like to kind of bluster a little bit. They want to, like, be like, I'm ruling with an iron fist, and they want to show off that they're like that. They're not just going to take it and stuff. And I think that this is more posturing by Jerry Jones than anything. I think he's saying that, like, we should have won and this, that, and the other and blah blah blah. But I don't think that he's going to really do anything. I don't think so, because if he was going to, then I think he would have done it already today.
Well, but you also have to look at this way. He's got two coaches on that staff that are quote unquote hot commodities right now. He's got
Yeah, true.
Cullen Clemens and he's also got Dan Quinn. If he
Dan
chooses
Quinn, just real quick, Dan Quinn is not only is there communication apparently between him and the Giants, he's got official interviews with 6 other teams.
I know that's what I'm saying. So
So
you look at the what he has right now. He's got two hot coaches that everybody wants. He's got a coach that hasn't really done it for him, and he's already criticized saying, "Hey, you know what? You had the tools, you didn't build the thing that I was wanting you to build, right?" Um and he's done it before because he did it with your guy. What's the I forgot what his name is because I don't like him. He was the coach before he went to the Giants and was the offensive coordinator before he got fired again. I forgot what his name is.
oh my God, I'm blanking
You
too.
know who
Just
it
so you
is. Come
guys
on,
know, it's
come on.
late over here.
Yeah,
Garrett.
it's about 11
Jason
o'clock
Garrett.
right now.
Yeah.
Yes, Jason Garrett. He did a
Yeah.
very similar thing with Jason Garrett. He had a coach that he wasn't too pleased with. Jason Garrett was the it guy, and he fired the coach to keep Jason Garrett. It feels like we're in the same space
Sort
as
of,
that
sort of,
time also,
sort of,
you know?
sort of.
So
But
that's
the
why
thing
I
is, the
asked.
thing, yeah, no, the thing for me is that the Cowboys didn't have a bad season. And despite their shortcomings in the playoffs, they were number one in the NFC East, and they had a 12-6 record. That's not bad. 12-5 going into the playoffs. That's not a bad record when you
There's a tale
consider.
of there's
So it's not terrible when you consider, the season that we've had. I mean, not just the season, but the football season as a whole, and kind of how like all over and wonky it's been. I don't think that they had that bad of a season to warrant a removal by McCarthy. And I don't think that there were any glaring issues over the course of the season that's like, yeah, McCarthy needs to be gone. Like I would even, I mean, of
yeah.
course, as a Giants fan, I would consider anybody that's got a winning record anywhere else. Uh, but that notwithstanding, I think that McCarthy, even if he lost that job, he could get a job anywhere else too.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? A lot of it, you could look at the season for the Cowboys, and it's a tale of two Cowboy teams, because at the very beginning, the Cowboys were flying high, and they were scoring, and Zach Prescott was having an amazing season, but then he got hurt, and he was never the same player after that injury. And they've kind of struggled ever since. I wonder if the injury is still playing a part in what happened here. So,
Well, it's
but you know
possible,
what?
right? But then if you consider
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
then even more credit that they were able to continue and truck on and make it to the playoffs despite that setback.
Yeah,
And you know what?
Jerry
You're right.
Jones.
You're right
Jerry
about
Jones is
that
not the
because
average owner, though.
they lost. No, actually, no. The tail end of their season, they didn't do too bad. In their last 6 games, uh they went 4 for
Was it
6.
4-2?
4
Yeah,
and 2,
four and
yeah.
two.
Four, yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't terrible. But I know that Jerry Jones,
No,
that's what
no,
I'm
it
saying.
wasn't.
Jerry Jones, I feel like he like just wakes up one day and decides that he's gonna do some stuff. Like he wakes up and he just decides that he's gonna talk crap about McCarthy. But I really don't I think it would be a really bad decision for him to get rid of McCarthy. Anyway,
All right,
we should
we'll
move
see what
on
happens. We'll see what happens.
we should move on to
Yes, yes.
the final 2 games. I know that we got where are we right now with the Rams? Is that game over? I mean, I know it's over, but is
No,
it over?
they're still playing. They're still playing, and the last time I checked, they're in commercial right now, so I have to
Okay,
rewind.
no, I have it over here. Then in third quarter,
The
4 minutes left in the third quarter with the Rams leading 28-8. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they're like
30
it's
no, it's now 31. It's now 31 to
oh
11
30, 31
with
to
10
11.
minutes
Oh
left.
man, Google,
So,
Google, you have to
yep.
Google has to update their site.
Yeah, they need to refresh that.
All right, so
Yeah, so it's 31-11.
all
They
right, so
just kicked the
regardless,
Arizona
it's the
Cardinals
same.
just kicked the field goal. So,
It's the same point differential though. They're losing by 20. Okay. I don't know if they're going to be able to
yes.
catch up to that because
Mhm.
there's 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So that's 3 scores that they need. Not
Yeah, and
3 scores and conversions.
yeah, that's not happening. Yeah.
So
The
so
Cardinals
I'm pretty
haven't
sure that we can
shown
kind of like
anything that
called that
suggests they
game
can make the
already, but
comeback.
but now this is actually my game of the week. Steelers and Chiefs. Now, even
Really?
though I had called it,
Okay.
even though I had called it for the Chiefs, I was 100% rooting for Roethlisberger. I mean, like
I think
like
everybody
he
was.
I think everybody was. Who doesn't want to have the storybook ending, and it's something special for me when I saw him play yesterday. I can see like he's playing kind of like an old quarterback. He doesn't have like that snap to the football. The way that he runs, he's always kind of run like a bit of a wonky refrigerator, but the way that he was running and moving on the field was kind of like an old man, and you just kind of feel for the guy. And And
Mm-hmm.
credit to him that despite being pretty much like outclassed in every way by Mahomes and the Chiefs, he's still driving, he's still fighting to the very last second, trying to score some touchdowns. Of course, because he's, as they say, a huge competitor and always fights to the very end. Even when the game is completely lost, he still wanted to score. He did not want to stop fighting.
Yeah.
He didn't take a knee. He didn't try to like end the game. He didn't come out of the game. He wanted to finish the game, and it's obviously his last game, so it's a little bit bittersweet. But even though that was something that made me really root for him, what made the game of the weekend for me was just Mahomes, the way that he played. I mean, look, every single game I saw Joe Burrows, and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's like the next Tom Brady." Then I saw Josh Allen, and I was like, "Dude, what in the world? Like, this guy's insane." Then I saw Brady, and I was like, "Couldn't believe Brady's still doing what he's doing at this age." And we can forget about the Dallas game. But then I see Mahomes, and it's just like every single game, I keep thinking like, oh man, I'm looking at the best quarterback in this postseason, and now I see Mahomes, and Mahomes is he's like, I don't even know how it is that he can move laterally the way that he does and still place the ball with these crazy passes and basically making every single person on the field a target, whether you're a lineman, a wide receiver, a running back, a tight end,
Yeah, they went
anybody,
crazy
a
with that. I
center.
mean,
Like, he's just like, hey, you want a touchdown? Here, has a touchdown. You want a touchdown? Here, you want the ball? Here, you get the ball too. And it just, that style of play is it has to be impossible to plan for. Like, if you're a defense, I'm like, all right, typical defense. We gotta protect the receivers. We gotta watch out for the tight end and so on and so forth. But then with Mahomes, first of all, you can't catch the guy, and then second of all, you don't know who he's going to throw to. It's insane the way that he played, and just seeing that kind of unique style of quarterbacking. I don't know. I think I have my pick for the Super Bowl champion.
well, can I just read your text in the chat about
Yeah, sure.
Mahomes?
Yeah, sure.
This is you said it's like playing Madden with your cousin, except your cousin's controller is unplugged.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically
and
that's what I was
that
looking at. I was like,
basically
that's exactly what it felt like.
that, yeah. I mean, you can you believe that the Steelers were actually winning this game 7-0? At one point, they were ahead in this game, which is crazy. The crazier thing, and I think this kind of speaks to what you were talking about with Mahomes. Uh, it the game, and I think this is why the game was so shocking because it flipped on a coin really, really quick. And
Yeah.
if you look at what Mahomes did, he threw 5 touchdown passes in 10 minutes and 30 seconds of game time.
Jesus
Think
Christ, man.
about that.
It's
Think
just
about that. 5
it's
touchdowns.
unbelievable.
That is less. That is, I want to say, what is that? That's 4/5 of a quarter that he threw 5 touchdowns. He would come in handy right now for the Cardinals that they're down 20 and they have 8 minutes left because you put Mahomes in there, he's probably going to throw for like 4 touchdowns. You know, the dude's a freak. That's all it
He
is.
is. He
He's
is.
just he's like you said again on the chat, and I'm going to quote you again. Mahomes is just different. He
He
really
is.
is.
He is. It's
You
going to be
know.
a really interesting. It's going to be a really interesting weekend, considering that's going to be Josh Allen against Mahomes. We're going to get into our picks in a bit, but yeah, I mean, what else is there left to say about that game or the game that's going on right
I
now?
mean,
Really?
well, again with this game, I think again this is kind of similar to that Philadelphia game where inexperience is just really eating Kyler Murray alive. And you can tell by just one play early. I think it was in the second quarter where he was deep in his own territory, pushed up against the end zone, and was holding the ball in the end zone, about to get sacked for a safety, and he just chooses to throw it up, and the guy picks it off for a pick six. It's inexperience that's really killing the Cardinals here. I think Kyler Murray is an excellent quarterback, and I think once he gets past
He
all of
looks
this,
so green.
he really, really does. I mean, he looks like he has no idea what's going on there. And again, that's kind of like a similar theme where you saw Jalen Hurts with Philadelphia. Guys that are starting for the first time in the playoffs, it's a big deal. And some kids can handle it, some kids can't. That's not saying that Kyler Murray will never learn from this experience, you know, because I think he has a ton of talent, but this is not going to be
Right.
his year. He's going to have to wait a little bit. And you know what? Uh, it's a good learning experience for him. Next year he'll get back his favorite receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, and you know what? Maybe we'll see a different team. And if he makes the playoffs, which I have no doubt he won't, you might see a different result here. But yeah, these guys, he has no idea what's going on right now. I hate to say it,
Yeah, no, he
and
doesn't.
I
He's
like
a
the
little
kid.
bit.
I really, really do.
Something that happens. I think that happened a lot this weekend is that when you're getting blown out, when you kind of realize like halfway through the game that like the game is kind of over. Not too many people have the drive that Roethlisberger has. That he's just fighting tooth and nail, just keep scoring, keep scoring. You can kind of see in a lot of these young quarterbacks that they are just defeated. You can see it on their face. You saw it on Jalen Hurts. You see it on Murray. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's very very visible. Um, so all right. So then that kind of
And
leads us to.
and just a quick note.
Mhm.
Let me just make one quick point, real quick, and then let's move on. It's interesting to note that three of the blowouts that we saw here dealt with very, very inexperienced either rookies or second year players. Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. So
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. So, um, real quick, which one do you think out of the three, if you had to pick one of those three, which one of the three could become a superstar?
Oh, it's Kyler Murray, without a doubt.
Oh, you
I
think?
I
I don't, man.
really
I thought like I saw some I saw some good stuff from Mac Jones, man. I saw him trying, I saw him running, I saw him trying to like, he just was super overwhelmed by the defense, but I saw some good splashes out
mhm.
of him, you know.
Yeah, I just think Kyler Murray has so much talent, and
Yeah.
he has that it factor that you want in a quarterback. Mac Jones, to me, I don't know that the Patriots have their quarterback yet. To be quite honest,
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
don't.
I'll gladly
So
take
but
Mac
we'll see.
Jones. And not for nothing, this is gonna
Yeah, you
sound
would.
very this this is gonna sound terrible. It's gonna sound really bad. But I would take Belichick as a coach also.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I was listening to New York radio this afternoon, and whether this is true or not, but it seems like the fan base in New England isn't quite happy with Belichick right now,
Oh,
and I
that's
don't
that's not
know
new though.
why.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's not new.
You
That's
know,
they you want to know?
so
No, no, that's been for a while now. The reason for that, and this isn't just from
has
like
it
the fan
been
base online. Yeah, this isn't just from the fan base online. This is also from
interesting?
from people that I know up there. They blame Belichick for Tom Brady leaving.
Brady leaving?
Yeah, they blame him for Brady
Okay.
leaving. They thought that they were like, Belichick is a old dinosaur, and Tom Brady didn't want to work with him anymore, and this, that, and the third. And I believe that there is some truth to the fact that like there was some dysfunction between the two of them in the direction of the team.
Mhm.
And what Belichick wanted to do versus what Tom Brady thought they should do. Uh, but
Well, remember he wanted to keep Garoppolo. He was pissed off when they traded Garoppolo,
I mean,
being
yeah,
Belichick.
yeah. I mean,
So
probably because he, thought like this is going to be the guy after Brady leaves, um,
yeah, exactly.
which would have made sense actually. Now that you think, and now that when you compare Garoppolo and Mac Jones, that obviously makes sense. Maybe he already had an inkling of what Brady's. intentions were, but he he uh he's being blamed for Brady leaving, and then having the two losing seasons, and Brady having the success that he's having, just just kind of in New Englanders' minds, in their heads, they're justifying their hate for Belichick. They're like, you see, look at this, look at that. If we had just kept Brady, we would have kept winning, and that really,
Yeah.
really kind of sucks because you're talking about the guy that has won for you how many titles? You know what I mean? Like, he, in his first 4 years, he won 3 out of the 4 years. He won Super Bowl titles. Brady didn't do that by
Yeah.
himself. Brady can't, like, as great as Brady is. Okay, football is not the kind of game where you can do it on your own. It's obviously impossible. You can't be LeBron James and go out there
Right.
and cross whoever up, shoot over anybody, dunk it, play center. You can't be a LeBron James in football. Okay? Brady, without amazing wide receivers, without amazing running backs, is just someone that can throw the ball well. If he doesn't have people that can catch the ball well, if he doesn't have people that can run the ball well, if he doesn't have people that can protect them, Brady wins nothing. Okay. And that's where the coaching comes
Yep.
in. Football is one of those sports, one of the few sports where I believe that the coaching is the most important aspect of the sport. And I think basketball, if you look at the Nets, they don't need Steve Nash. That's the reason they got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant and James Harden. Those are the coaches. They're the ones doing what they're doing on the court. Steve Nash is basically just managing time and managing the clock. And in
Right.
baseball also, like, managers, they don't do too much. They just make a decision when to take the pitchers in and out. Certain changes here and there. I do agree that managers do, to a certain extent, obviously are important in all sports. But in baseball, for example, it's all analytics. It's like, oh, you know what? It's around this pitch count that we need to take him out. They don't make a decision based off of what they see. In football, they make decisions every single second based on what they see, what they feel, the things that happen in the game, injuries, this, that, and third. And it all has to be orchestrated with this, mass of people colliding in 11-second spurts you know? And
Yeah.
it's insane to me that anyone from Boston can talk crap about Belichick, as
I
if
know. That's
he
why
had.
I'm really surprised that you said that. That's like a common thing because Belichick, you look at his body of work, it speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? And you also got to remember Brady during his run was injured, and he brought. I can't remember the name of the quarterback, but he brought in another quarterback. They won 11 games that year. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I
With
mean,
a nobody.
it's.
So
And I
Belichick
mean, look at what they're doing this year. I mean,
is
look, Belichick last year did
yeah,
not have the best
exactly.
season. He went into the draft room and he made some really good picks, designed a team that was able to go to the playoffs with Mac Jones. And granted, they got completely demolished. Okay, but that doesn't take away from the success of the season, and it doesn't take away from the
Oh yeah,
history that Belichick
absolutely.
has. That's crazy to me.
Listen,
Anyway,
they
I
they
would
were they
gladly
were
take
the number
Belichick
one
here.
seed for a bit. Well, there might be a chance. I mean, there's two things that can happen here. Belichick might be reunited with Garoppolo because apparently Garoppolo is maybe on the outs here in San Francisco, as crazy as that sounds, right? But I don't think the
Really,
coach is too crazy. Yeah, I don't think the coach is too crazy. And plus, they have Trey Lance there kind of waiting in the wings. So Garoppolo might be available. So maybe he goes to the Patriots and
the Giants.
reunites with Belichick, which would be an amazing thing. And that
That
was
would
the
be.
next thing that I was gonna say. Hey, listen,
Yeah,
would you take Garoppolo on the Giants? That
yeah.
might be
That would be
interesting, you know?
I mean, I'll take anybody
So
that's going to give
yeah,
us.
so
I
I think
know.
that's a wrap.
So speaking about the Giants, I know that, like, we are in desperate need of a proper rebuild, but I don't think this to me is kind of like the Knicks situation. I don't think that you can rebuild without getting some sort of, like, boost early on, right? I think that you need to kind of have some sort of talent, some sort of life, showing in within the organization, within the team, and then build off of that, because no one's really going to want to come here if we don't have something to fight for, something good. We need to have good a good GM. We need to have a proven head coach, and we need to have, veteran quarterbacks that can at least help the next generation, help the actual rebuild. What's the sense in like getting a completely brand new team from scratch, right? We get like a GM, maybe we get a good head coach, but then every single player is basically either drafted or green around the gills. Honestly, that right now sounds like, taking a gamble, flipping a coin, because you might take all these green people and then it's going to take 3 years to develop them. What happens when they become Saquon Barkley? What happens when they turn into Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
We got to do another 3 years? No, we need leadership on the organization, proven leadership, people that have been there, done that, have a proven track record to then help the future rebuild. They basically need to create a better farm system.
So, the Giants, I guess this is a good time to talk about the offseason for the New York teams, right? And we could do this real quick because, we're kind of pressed for time, and I do want to get into the picks.
Yeah,
But
I definitely want to
look
go
at the
into the
Giants.
picks.
The Giants, yeah, the Giants here, they're kind of in a rough situation here. I know that they've conducted a bunch of interviews so far. One, they had a candidate from the Chiefs. They had some guys from the 49ers come in. I believe you had mentioned that somebody else they were looking at. They're in a rough, they're really in a rough situation. And the reason I say that is because when you look at the Giants right now, the way they're constructed, they have needs, right? And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think some of the needs that they have are clearly quarterback. They need offensive line help. They need tight end help. They need linebackers, and they need the edge, right? And edge rusher that'll actually put pressure on the quarterback. I think
We need help
that's for
everywhere.
me looking at,
We need help
yeah, but
everywhere.
I think that for me is probably the biggest needs that the Giants have right now. The problem that I see here is that you look at their salary cap situation. They have, drum roll please, $2.8 million in projected cap space. They basically have no leeway to make any moves. So, bringing in the big quarterback, bringing in the big free agent, that's not really in the card for the Giants right now. If you start shedding contracts, there are guys that you can get rid of, but the problem is if you do get rid of those guys, guys like Sterling Shepard, guys like Kyle Rudolph, you're leaving dead money on the cap of about $20 million. $20 million that you're not going to be able to utilize anywhere because they're taking up that salary cap space. You guys are in a really tough spot right now. And I know you guys can restructure some contracts, but
I know, but you know
there's
what?
it
I
makes it
leave the number
difficult. It
stuff
makes
to
it
them.
difficult to get that. Yeah, no, I know. It's not our thing. We're here only to speculate and say, well, this guy might look good in green, and this guy might look good in blue, and you know what I'm saying. But the reality is, they're going to have a really hard time bringing in guys to kind of right the ship, and they're not the only ones that are looking for GMs and coaches right now. And so, it's going to be really tough for the Giants moving forward, at least in the very near future. But they do need to
Oh,
blow
we'll
it up,
see.
and I think
And
the
you're.
fact
I
that
mean,
they're looking
it's
outside of
it's
the organization for the first time is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And they've already, I believe they have like a slate of 9 or 10 people that they've already uh either interviewed or have scheduled to interview. I think that one of the most interesting people for the GM position that they've looked at is the head of player personnel for the 49ers. I forget his name. Carton, Carthen, Maurice
Yes,
Carthen,
Ben Carton,
I
I
believe.
think.
Yeah. So
Oh, Rand Carthen.
Maurice Carthen, Rand Carthen. Sorry, Rand Carthen. Rand
No,
Carthen. Yeah,
Rand
sorry,
Carthen.
the
Yeah,
son. No,
yeah.
Rand. Yeah, one of the Carthens. Yeah, Rand Carthen. Maurice
Yeah,
Carthen
his
is
name is
Maurice
Rand
Carthen is the
Carton.
dad.
Is
Maurice
is
Carthen
he
is the dad.
related to Maurice?
I
Really?
believe Maurice is the dad.
I did not
Yeah,
know
I
that.
believe he's.
Okay,
Yeah, I
interesting.
believe so. If I'm not mistaken. You know, the him. Yeah. That's his
Okay,
son. Yeah. So, um, so anyway,
listen, that's pretty cool. You have giant
I think that it's
connections there.
exciting. I think that it's exciting because they have this many people that they're interviewing, and that kind of shows that like the credibility of the organization has not been shot. If you think about like the Knicks, you know, like 4 or 5 years ago, when Porzingis was like, you know, got himself out of the Knicks were such a toxic organization. Nobody wanted even to interview. Nobody wanted to be mentioned in the same sentence as the Knicks. You know, when Derrick Rose first got traded to the Knicks, he cried because he got traded to the Knicks. You know, thankfully, you know, he's come around, and this time he asked to be traded back to the Knicks, and he's doing a phenomenal job. He's one of my favorite players. He's definitely my favorite Nick. But
Hmm.
anyway, the Giants aren't at that level where they're toxic, thank God. So that to me bodes well because if we can get a competent GM, one that's highly respected, I feel like it's more about like what the GM like can do. It's rather it's less about what the potential of what the GM can do versus how much weight the GM carries around in the organization so that they can then pull the right coaches, so that they can then pull the right players and stuff. Because I feel like if you get a GM that's highly respected, then every coach will want to interview for the Giants.
Right. So
But anyway,
it's kind of like a domino effect. Um, in terms of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Jets, my Jets, uh, all I have
You
to say
guys are
is this,
good. You don't need to
for
do
our fans
anything. You
who are
guys are
Jets fans,
great. You need to do
no, no,
nothing.
no, 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 no.
You
We
guys are
need stuff.
perfect.
So, but
Stay where
I'm
you
gonna say
guys
this
are.
to my
Stay right in your lane, the middle lane. You don't need to go any
yeah.
faster
You
than where
want
you're
us,
going.
yeah. You want us there, right? You want us there because in that way the Giants get to shine. But listen, I'm gonna speak to my
The Giants is
Jets
always going to
fans,
shine.
gang green guys. We are in a good place. I really do believe that, and I have more optimism this year than in years past. And listen, the Jets have the opportunity to make me cry again, but I really don't think that's going to happen. The Jets, for me, their needs are pretty obvious. We need a better offensive line, especially we need Mekhi Becton back in the lineup, dude. Enough with the injuries. Let's get to work here, right? Wide receiver is a thing that they desperately need. They need a playmaker at that position. Pass rusher, that's something that us Jet fans, we've been searching for ages. John Abraham was the last guy that we had. We gave him away. He went on to have a very good career in Atlanta. The secondary, specifically the safety, corners, we need some depth there. And so those are the things that I think in my eye is what the Jets need. Now, the good thing about it is that the Jets, unlike the Giants, are pretty good with cap space. I think going into this offseason, they have probably the third highest cap space in the entire league. They're projected to be sitting at $60.2 million worth of cap space. There are things that they can do. So, they can build through the draft, but they can also bring free agents and they can also make trades. One of the trades that has been kind of bandied around on the internet lately is a trade with Atlanta to bring in Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley would fit perfectly with the
Damn.
Jets right now. If you
Really?
get Calvin Ridley in there, you have the makings of a very good offense because you have him on one side, Elijah Moore on the other, who showed flashes of really big promise. And you got guys like Braxton Berrios, who, in my mind, he reminds me a lot of Wayne Corbett back in the days. And you also have Corey Davis. So that's the makings of a very good receiving core, but they still need more. So there's optimism going into this offseason. And so Jets Nation, we have some hope. We have some hope. Um, We got to look at Marcus May because he is a free agent and he tore his Achilles back in November. We're looking at Jamison Crowder. Maybe you bring him back, maybe you don't. And Morgan Moses is probably one of the guys that you look at. He is a tackle, and he actually played pretty well. Braxton Berrios is also a free agent. Now, Braxton Berrios is a very interesting case because he is a Pro Bowl alternate, and he's also All-Pro first team in special teams, and he played a big role at the end of the year as a wide receiver. Do the Jets look at him as a premium player and give him a premium contract, or let him go? That remains to be seen. But if we can find a way to bring Braxton Berrios and not break the bank, that would be a very good thing for the Jets. But like I said, Jets Nation, I think we're in pretty good shape going forward. So there you go.
So how about we go into our picks then?
Let's do it.
So we
game's
have
over, by the way.
Yeah, I mean that game's been over. So it's official. The LA Rams are going to be facing the Bucks.
Yeah.
But let's run through the exact schedule. We got the first game on Saturday. It's going to be the Bengals and Titans at 4:30 p.m. 49ers and Packers at 8:15 on Saturday. Then Sunday, we have the Rams and the Bucks at 3 p.m. and then the Bills and the Chiefs at 6:30 p.m. Now, first game, Bengals and Titans. What's your pick?
Oh, you want me to go first?
We'll alternate each. We'll alternate each game. How about that?
All right. The Titans, the number one seed in the AFC. There is a possibility that Derrick Henry makes his glorious and triumphant return.
He is.
Oh, it is already?
It's official. Yeah.
Okay.
That changes.
So he's
everything.
coming back.
Yeah.
Well, the dude he's what, third in the league in rushing, and he's missed like how many games?
Yeah, exactly.
Which tells you what a transcendent player this guy is, right? I'm picking the Bengals.
Exactly. You're picking the Bengals? Oh man, I'm going against you on that one. I'm definitely picking the Titans. I love Joe Burrow, but I think that they're not stopping Henry. They're not.
I look at this game the way it's shaping up. The Bengals are on a roll here. The Bengals, and momentum is everything in the playoffs, right? The Bengals have been on a roll for a couple of weeks now. Joe Burrow has really kind of eased into that Joe Cool type of thing. I don't trust the Titans quarterback. I really don't.
I mean, when you got Henry, you just need to pass the ball to him. You just need to give him the ball and let him run.
I know, but Ryan Tannehill, you got to throw the ball at some point. He's ever since he left Miami, and especially after he left Adam Gase's tutelage, he's really shined into a very good quarterback. I'm not going to say he's elite. I'm not going to say he's great, but he's a very good quarterback. He's a great game manager. I don't trust him to win a playoff game here. And the Titans are a very, very well-coached team. Getting Derrick Henry back is a big plus. I wonder how much rust he has on those wheels, given the fact that he's been gone and the injury that he had. That's why I look at this game, and I can see a scenario where the Bengals eke out a victory here at the very end. So for me, I'm going Bengals over the Titans. This probably is going to be like a 30-27 game, but I really do trust Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase. I love Joe Mixon, and I love that offensive line. I think they're going to be able to score some points on the Titans, and I have misgivings about Tannehill, and I love Derrick Henry, and if he was 100%, I'd be going Titans. I just wonder how much rust he has on that wheel coming out of this injury.
I don't know. So, we'll see. I think I'm definitely going Titans. I think they got the package. I think that Joe Burrow's He has a lot of potential. I think the Bengals are a great team. They got amazing synergy, but I still think that Joe Burrow, I think, is still a very young team, and I
Okay.
think that that's going to play a factor. Now,
All right.
next
There you go.
game. Next game. Let's
Packers
talk
Niners.
Packers Niners. Well, let's go with well, I'll
Packers
go first.
Niners.
I think that this one's going to be kind of easy. Garoppolo's got his he's got a uh he's got the shoulder, right?
Bum shoulder. Yeah,
And
he's got a bum
the
shoulder.
bum hand. They're saying that he should be practicing. They didn't even confirm that he's going to practice. They said that he should be practicing this week. So he might not.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even 100% for the game against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think this is easy. I think this is easy. I think this is easily Aaron Rodgers. Are you
Yeah,
serious? Are you serious right
I
now? Are
kind
you
of
even
agree. I don't think
questioning
that.
it?
Well, not necessarily. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Um, Jimmy Garoppolo with the sprained throwing shoulder is a problem. Nick Bosa, is he coming back? I don't see anything here for
I don't think
him.
that he is because he's under concussion protocols, and concussion protocol is a 14-day protocol, I believe.
So that's problematic. But you know what? I look at the way the 49ers play, and they're the one team that they're the anomaly in the league right now because they can
Yeah.
bring a very, very effective and devastating pass rush with only their 4 down linemen. Four players. They don't blitz much because they don't need to. And so I think Rodgers might be in under a lot of pressure, especially if they try to kind of mask Bosa's absence by blitzing a little bit more. And so that's going to put a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. But at the end of the day, I think Aaron Rodgers will win this game. Like I said, it's not going to be a blowout. At least that's my opinion. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect just because of how good that 49er defense is. But the Packers have too many weapons, and I think at the end of the day, they're going to win it outright. So that's I'm agreeing with you with the Packers.
All right. Now we are now to the newly minted playoff winners, wild card winners, the LA Rams facing the Bucks. What's your pick there?
Um, that's going to be an easy one. This is the Bucks all the way. I don't.
Really?
I don't trust Matt Stafford either. I think he had a very good game against the Cardinals, but he was going up against the Cardinals team that was kind of inexperienced. I think it's going to be a total different story when he goes down to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa and meets up with Todd Bowles' defense, and Brady is going to be too much. This is the game that I believe will be the blowout of the week. I
I do
don't
not
think
think
this
so.
game is
I
close.
do not think so because I am going with the Rams because
Really? Okay.
I believe that their pressure defense, and I've said this before, okay? I think that you know, it's very well documented that Brady doesn't do well under pressure, under real pressure. Okay, he just doesn't. Okay,
Hmm.
he does crack, and I think that the Rams can actually put the pressure.
No, he doesn't.
I
Yeah.
think they know that they have to be high pressure early on Brady, and I think that that's what's going to be the game. I think that's going to be a tight game, but I do
All
believe
right.
that the Rams are going
So
to. I think the Rams are going to create turnover opportunities, and I think that that's what it is. I mean, look at it this way: like against a poor, very poor Eagles, Brady got sacked 3 times in the first half. I think 4 times in the whole game.
it's okay.
I think, and I think if you
It
take
was still
that
31-0. Yeah.
I know, but who's got a better squad, the Eagles or the Rams? I think easily Matt Stafford
I agree with
and the
that.
Rams
I
and the
agree
Rams
with that.
defense. So this is why
I just don't trust Matt Stafford. You know,
I think this is going to be a
he's a guy that
17-13.
I
I
look at. I'm
think
like,
this game is going to be 17-13 Rams.
okay, you're calling a close game. I'm calling a blowout. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
yep.
So
I really don't think
you
it's going to
know,
be a blowout. Now the final
so
game.
let's talk
Oh,
about the game that I think. Yeah, I think that game is going to be the best game of the season.
yeah.
Right? I mean,
This is
of
going to
the
be an
playoff. No,
insane game.
it might be of the season. It might.
It might be of the
This is
season.
easily a game that. Yeah, this is easily a game that should have been a Super Bowl. It's a shame that we're
Yeah,
getting it in the divisional round as
yeah.
opposed to the NFC championship. I mean the AFC championship. Um, who do you think is going? I've got my thoughts. I want to hear what
I
you
already.
think.
I mean, you should already know. I already said that I
I
think
know.
Mahomes is
I
going to
want
be our Super Bowl champion.
okay.
I wholeheartedly believe that. And one of the main reasons I think so when it comes to the Bills is that the Bills are playing the Chiefs in Kansas City, not the other way around. Where I think that one of the Bills'
Hmm.
strongest suit is their home turf advantage. And I think that the Chiefs have great home field advantage also with their fans and the whole nine. But I think that it's such a stark difference from playing at the Bills' home field that I think that that will be the deciding factor between the two teams that are arguably, the best combined offense, defense, and special teams in the league right now. If I have to do those two, combining all three of those, if they're pretty much well matched up there, and then the only difference between the quarterbacks are in their heights and how they play it, they both make crazy plays. They're both playmakers. So I don't see where the advantage is other than the home field.
Okay.
I believe
Um,
I believe whoever wins this game wins the whole Super Bowl.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, how do I put this in a way that doesn't cause you to lose out on this? Um, I'm picking the Bills to win this game. And I know originally, so there's a couple of things here that I have in my head here. First of all, if you look at the opening line for Chiefs versus Bills, the Chiefs right now are opening up as a favorite, but they're only 2.5 point favorites. Um, Basically, you're talking about a push. It's basically a pick 'em. They're giving the
Hmm.
Chiefs the home field advantage. Usually, the home field advantage is what, three points. They're giving them a little bit
Yeah.
less than 3 points. They're giving them
Yeah.
2.5, right? I look at their previous, what was it, 2 months ago? They played an Arrowhead. The Bills took the Chiefs 38-20 in that game.
Hmm.
I kind of see something very similar to that too. I
I don't
really
know,
do
man.
believe
I
that.
don't
I really
know.
do
I
believe
don't
that the
think so.
Bills are again. I'm looking at momentum. The Bills are really, really clicking. They're playing with high confidence. You're talking about a team that is one of the best in the league in terms of offense, and you're talking about the number one rated defense in the league. I just, I love the Chiefs, and if they weren't playing, if the Bills weren't playing the Chiefs, I would say the Chiefs are the ones that are going to take it all. Man, it's tough for me to pick against the Bills right now. I think the Bills are gonna get the upset, and you're going to see um, you're gonna see the two underdogs in the AFC Championship in my
Okay.
mind.
All right.
So
Well, all right.
I see it's
So,
Bengals Bills for the AFC. So there it is.
all right. So we're calling it. My card is my picks. My picks are Titans, Packers, the Rams, and the Chiefs, and Waltz. It's going to be the Bengals, also the Packers, but he's going Bucks and Bills. So this time we're only in line with just the Packers advancing.
Just
So,
the one.
Just the one. All
This is
right.
gonna this is gonna be a fun week. This is gonna be a fun
weekend. This is gonna be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm definitely looking forward to the cast.
Yep.
So all right then. That'll be it for the arena, no?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot this
I mean,
this
yeah,
week,
I mean,
right?
we covered.
There was a lot to cover though.
Yeah. All right. Well, so without further ado, then thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for following us, and thank you for obviously staying to the very end of the episode. Once again, please like, rate, share, and subscribe. Share this with your best friends. Share this with anybody that you think might even disagree with us. And if you disagree with us, tough luck. Say it to my face. Send it to me in the DMs. Hit me in the DMs. Hit us in the DMs. Email us. Like snail mail, whatever you want to do. I don't know how you would snail mail. We got to give you an address for that, but maybe not. But if you don't like our opinions, that doesn't mean don't listen. Just say something, and maybe we'll bring it up.
That's true. Yeah.
So
and listen,
anyway,
if you guys are going to email us, please remember to leave your name and your basic geographic location, because if we're going to mention you on the podcast, we'd like to know who you are and where you're from. So please,
and maybe if you need to blow off some kneecaps if you're talking crap about the Giants. That'll do it for me. That'll do it for me and for my co-host Walt. Thank you for joining me tonight. It was an awesome cast. Can't wait to laugh in your face at how good my picks are. You might have won this weekend's picks. You might have won this weekend's picks, but I'm gonna win the overall war. In this, arena.
What is the saying?
My arena.
What is the saying though? You might have won the fight, but I'm still gonna win the war. Well,
that's literally what I just said.
I won the fight, but I'm flipping it, because in this case,
oh my God,
I won the fight. I'm still gonna win the war. So it's all good.
You can't change historical quotes. That's like wrong. Anyway,
when you almost go 6-0 on the first weekend, yeah, I can.
Listen, Chief. You can go 99 yards. Don't mean it's a touchdown.
Well, it depends. If I'm starting at the 2, then it is a touchdown.
My God. All right. Let's leave it at that.
Anyway, all right. Yep.
That'll do it for us at the arena. Thank you guys so much for joining. Peace.
Later, people.